My name is Patrick Donaghy. I was born in Dundee in Scotland, and in recent years I've become so enraged about what's been happening to the Palestinian people, especially in the last year in Gaza. We can all remember the 27th of December to about the 21st of January last year, in the interlude when George Bush was finishing his presidency and Barack Obama was coming in office. It was a situation whereby they seemed to seize the moment 2 days after Christmas, and they probably got the go-ahead from George Bush, the Israelis I'm talking about, to go ahead with this onslaught against the Palestinian people in Gaza. So enraged by what I saw and felt at that time, I felt I had to do something. Although I am a painter and an artist and a former teacher, I felt as though I had to do something of my own initiative to stem the anger and the inner rage I felt about this. And so somewhere along the line I developed this particular idea of the shoes and the miniature coffins, mainly to explain the scale of the carnage. And when I saw the defence minister of the Israeli defence minister at the time, I think her name was Libni, all cosmetised with her makeup on and prissy and looking beautiful, and then seeing the result, witness some of the photographs here that was coming out of Gaza. My creative abilities, it turned to just an inner rage, and I felt as though I had to do something. You can't just walk away from this, you've got to make a statement, you've got to say something, and I feel as though I had a responsibility to demonstrate to the people, at least in Dundee and Tayside, something of that, an illustration, if you like, of that carnage, and especially the 400 children. But let's remember also there were about 1,600 people killed, and one can only imagine the trauma since then of all the people involved, all the children who witnessed their parents or their siblings being killed, crushed, just being treated so cruel and brutally by the Israeli forces. So this is one of the reasons why this began to develop. I did a similar thing last year, but given the nature and the rapidity of things we learned about last year, I felt I had to do something. So last year I had a demonstration here with the coffins arranged in the name of Gaza. I didn't want to let the matter go there. I felt as though I had to do something again this year because it still stuck with me, and I know from some of my friends that are here, because I'm involved with the Tayside for Justice in Palestine group. I was also involved with the Dundee Nablus Twinning Association, but I felt as though Tayside for Justice in Palestine demands more action from local people in terms of boycotting all Israeli goods where possible, and that is one of the reasons why I became involved in this. So I felt as though I wanted to explain my inner identity or creative imagination, and to demonstrate again to the people in Dundee and put it on a site here at the City Square, providing I've got permission to show the people here and allow them to come in and view this and let them think. But let's remember also all the children in the Dundee area from every race and religion that contributed to these shoes, and they felt the pain as well. I chose the shoes. I think that when you look at children's shoes, you see all the scuff marks and you see something of the personality of the children. I can always remember going to see my brother in his house. My brother died in 1989, unfortunately, but his children, I remember going to the house and seeing the 3 pairs of little shoes there. The children were in bed at the time, and it made you think of the tiny feet, all proportionate, smallest, some a little bigger and others a little bigger. So for some reason that sticks in your memory, and also seeing the shoes, I thought the shoes were a perfect metaphor for a life of a child, because it gives something of their personality of a particular type of shoe. Although I realise the situation in Gaza would be totally different, because they wouldn't have so luxurious, because they've been denied anything as basic as shoes. And there's also a link somewhere along the line, perhaps to the Holocaust Museum, where the Israeli shoes were put in glass cases to demonstrate the cruelty of the Nazis. But here you have the Israelis delivering the same to the sense that the Israelis have made Gazans heroic. But what I intend to do with these shoes, I intend to keep them and perhaps do again next year and expand it in some shape or form, because I feel as though in my mind's eye it's growing organically. And it'll maybe take a different shape next year, but I tend to hold it on every year as far as is possible, humanly possible.
Okay, are you moving the installation to other cities rather than Dundee?
Well, I haven't had any invitation to do that, and I haven't explored the possibilities. You'll understand it takes a bit of time to do this, and you need dedicated helpers to put and assemble things and disassemble things and to take them away, and then obviously because they're wet they've got to get dried again and to be taken other places. So it requires quite a logistical effort and reliance on 2 or 3 people. Yeah, I hope that maybe some stage it could maybe go to another city. But certainly next year that will be here in Dundee in some shape or form, and we'll keep getting the message out to the Americans and Israelis and the British government as well, that they should do more to stop this kind of carnage.